thorough pace, premium racing analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Travers Week. I guess officially we could say. And it is beautiful out.
Yeah.
I don't know that we could ask for anything more besides my tie to be straight. But it is a glorious morning. I mean, folks, this is it.
Chamber of Commerce.
That's the old Chamber of Commerce day. This is it. And I must say, it's quite quiet, Seth. We see.
There was that other day that was like this too.
So
Too often.
our man get his machinery cranked up across the street, but it's a beautiful day, and we know many people, coming to town for this week, our highlight of the season, clearly, and once again we have a highlight on Friday with the personal ensign. That'll be terrific. But I mean, this is as good as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. So there's 11 racing days left. This is the big week. And next week will be for the locals, kind of been that way. I'm trying to think, I want to say 96, Seth, we started running on Labor Day. So it's been a long time now, about 27 years. You throw out COVID year for attendance. So quarter of a century, you've been able to come up here and see live racing on Labor Day. We had the King's Plate on Sunday, an event that you used to see. You no longer go to it. They changed the name.
They did change the name. Required, I guess.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know. I think they were debating, actually.
Were they?
I think, if I remember correctly, but with the
now, how's
king
this?
being coronated, that
obviously, the Royals have something to do. But I said to my wife, who loves horse racing, for those who don't know, it would have been high on my docket for Chuck to attend. It's been like 80 years. I'd have been like, you got to go. If it's just fly over and fly back, you got to go. You got to present the first time in, I don't know what the official number was, but let's say 80 years, the king has got to give out the plate. I'm like, I don't know who's doing PR for these people, but that was an easy one. And then not only that, Prince William didn't go. It was like some donkey way down the list. I'm like, what a PR blunder. To give the people of Canada their day, to have the king come over and bestow the plate on. And we see it all the time here. A front end, every step of the way winner. It was never in doubt. They're off. You all lose, but the winner.
Marcassi won too.
Yes.
Nice there. And the Chad Brown runner got off badly. Kalick.
Okay, just never had a chance.
So, but surprise, Marcassi up at Woodbine has been dominant for years and years and years, and did it again on Sunday.
Easy too, at a price. So there you go. So I need to hear, because I know the show pool.
Show pool.
Take your time.
I did the two. I got through the first two, I think, again.
All right, so you're right at that middle, that
and
apex.
Then, missed, and then hit the next two, including my dark horse play of the day. Ran third, but paid $5 to show.
Now,
that would have
the one you missed on
4 or 5.
So you went 4 for 5-ish. The one you missed on, was it a toss-up horse, or was it clearly the one you wanted to be on for the show pool? My point is, did you pair off the foil answer, the second best one, that would have been a winner?
I'm trying to think.
Or was that horse?
I don't know whether the entire pool. A few weeks ago, I felt really good about it.
Yes.
This week, I wasn't that confident. So I don't know if there's anybody in the mix that I was super confident with.
Do you vaguely remember who won the race that knocked you out?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I was shocked that Memorialized, and that was the horse who had the crazy.
Don't remind me of Memorialized. I said to you on the show, Caracontais, and there was one. There's maybe one or two. There's one or two every year that I want back.
2x4 horses are $14. I've said this for so long. I liked Graham against Amit's Ways. I don't get bothered when they beat me at 5-10. But when they beat me for $14, I get upset. But I was actually surprised that the Graham Motion second-time runner with the huge trip and debut paid $14. I mean, I had the horse on top. It was one of the 4 winners. Another very good day. But I was just wondering, Sue Ellen Michigan. What I was surprised about her was she was 3rd choice. Now they were all low, but she was 3rd choice. I thought she'd be just about the favorite. Mount Up, the Army Mule horse, and then the Mudville 9, one of 2 favorites to win on the day. And what I was noticing was that, I think this is right. So Todd Pletcher won 2, Chad Brown won 2. None of those were favorites. So just in case you're, I know I talk in that vein often, but just in case you're out there, they're not all $3.60. I mean, there was 4 on Sunday. None of them were favorites for the 2 of the 3 leading contenders for the trainer title.
Yeah, they don't always pay cheap.
No, he's had some good winners, double digits. Surge capacity earlier in the meet, the Lake George, I think was about $13 and change in a stakes race on the turf. I think I saw this correctly. You won in the TU on Sunday, so it's like 11, 11, 10. No one can get 2 games in front. It's like 1 game. We bounce back. Our team is doing well, but I will say, Seth, and only because I want people to know how we're going to play it for the last 11 days. This is better than last year. So the TU, I share it with the boss on Friday and Mike Callahan today. So we're 73 for 289 at 647.30. So we're above water. I personally on OTV handicaps are 80 for 288. 693.90, and I'm going to use this to say the same thing to the people that follow me, because that's the old Fast Eddie Felsen line. One of my favorite movies of all time, The Hustler, one of my 10 favorite movies. And the second pool scene, which is actually about 1/3 the length of the first one, but I think it's more meaningful. He says, so how should I play this, Bert? And Bert wants him to play it conservatively and, grind out a professional win. And he grabs the pool stick. Well, here we go, fast and loose. So I am going to play it straight up. Wait till you see the picks today. I think today's card set is great for betting. I handicapped it. There was joy on my face for almost every single race. So my thought was, Seth, I can basically take a bagel for a week and I'll still be above water to fight it out.
All right.
I am not going to, my point is, I'm not playing 121 first or second choices. I am going to give them the chance to take me down, which they did last year, because I was god awful the last week. I think I had 7 winners in 6 days or 8 winners, and they were anemic, and it took me down. But I was not. But I just want the audience to know, if you're paying attention out there, that's how I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it, to try and get to 1,100, not to get to, I'm figuring there's going to be about 420 races. I'm not trying to get to 840. I'm trying to get to 1140. So we'll see. They shot me down last year, but what's that old line of coward dies 1,000 deaths? I'm going to play it just the way it is. I am not trying to crawl on my belly over the line. I am trying to, as Seth likes to say, knock it out of the park and just glide in. So that's it's been a great meet. I mean, there was one point, Seth, I think you told me the favorites were up to what, 43, 44%?
Early on.
Early in the meet?
Clearly, yeah.
And I said that there would be, I know Seth, and I follow this stuff religiously because I think it's important to the people. I know Seth was the first one to break the $300 barrier in the Times Union. And I had said that, my hope was, Seth, at the time that it came, because generally it's going to get back to 33%. So I think we were about 2 weeks into it. So you think, well, for 2 weeks, they're going to be at about 20% to balance it off at 33%. And that I needed to be there to take advantage of it when it happened. And that occurred, because, they just don't win at 44%, 43% for 8 weeks. It's just not the nature. I think I used to hear Steve Phillips on a radio sports talk show host. He's talking about baseball players with their long, you reverse to the means. I mean, you eventually become who you are. I think was what he was saying. So I figured favorites would. Do you know just off the top of your head what it's at now?
I'm trying to pull up. I can give you
we know
Saturday.
one thing. It's not 44%.
I got Saturday through Saturday, and so then you could look.
Well, they went 2
through
for
Saturday.
10.
It was just if you round up, it was 36.6. So it was 37.
All right, and they were 2 for 10, so they came down a bit. So they're going from about 44, so they're probably around 36, and they might finish at 36 because Saratoga kind of ticks up 1 or 2 from the famous 33%. So they might be about where they are.
Yeah.
Because they were 2 for 10 on Sunday.
But yeah, I mean, it would be hard for, Saratoga being a little shorter. You can have an aberration. Keeneland, I think, would be
longer
more
than Belmont
in that. But I was about to say Saratoga isn't that short anymore.
No.
When you get to the 8, it's typically going to even out, and typically you're in the 30 to 36% range. So to get over 36, but by the end of the meet would be a little bit aberrational, I would think. So it'll even
and we should tell our newbie fans, our casual fans, that 33% thing, that's been around like 100 years at every track. I mean, that's really data that is etched in stone. Yeah. I mean, that's a point of reference you can comfortably go forward with. So if they're around 42, that's way above and probably going to shift down because, boy, I'll tell you, Seth, you take any long meet, the old days in New York, any meet other than Saratoga, I bet it was 33% plus or minus 2 points every meet for 30 years.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those
very
stats
reliable
that you can count on. And again, between 30 and 36 is regardless of where you are, that's probably where it's going to wind up. But as I say, Keeneland being the 3-week meet, I can see that one having a little bit of an aberration in there. But
how long is Monmouth? How many racing days is Monmouth now? I mean,
that's a good
it
question.
goes for a while, but it's 3 days.
Long enough
they go for long enough. They get enough days. Any social happenings this weekend?
Well, I was at and we'll have a little tape from it later on, Racing Across America. I was at the TRF barbecue last night, which is one of the nice events of the year. If you didn't go, maybe mark it on your calendar.
Was that the one at the winery?
At the winery, yeah, just
good
outside
food,
of
good eats,
Saratoga. 500 people. I mean, it was their biggest event yet, and nice crowd. And it's very casual.
Well, it's the push you gave it.
Hopefully. But then they have
maybe Kim will bring some more Swedish fish over.
They have raffle items. They have silent auction.
What was the biggest raffle item that you can remember?
Well, the bibiggest silent auction item was a day with me. But
was it really? Did you put that up?
It was in, but it wasn't. I don't.
No, but you gave up. That's nice. That's. Those are cool things. So they get to come in and do a segment with you?
No. It's
we
do some handicapping. There's a box over at the track.
Well, I don't want to produce your show, but they get a segment on Racing Across America. I mean, that would be.
Some people don't. Some people are camera shy.
Yes, but the people that want it really want to do it. They want to sit with you and they want to talk and tell their story, etc. I can go back a long time ago. Paul Vandenberg was with the network. They used to have an annual one for the cystic fibrosis event. And you got to come in and do the morning line show. And that was very popular with people. That was a good money. I think you're underestimating, Seth, the people want to rub elbows with you on this desk. Not me, but with you. They come in, do 20 minutes. All right.
But otherwise, it was fun. That was a nice event.
Again,
that's right. I'm trying to think anything. I don't think I did anything else.
Is it always on a Sunday?
Tuesday.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, no, it was last night.
So you had all your work done. You went out, socialized.
No, I got home and I was working late because I also had that at the piece.
Okay.
I taped. I took the camera and ran around tape last night, and so it was.
So it's Travers week. It's Wednesday. We have the DePaula play of the day. I want to thank the good people at DePaula Chevrolet for their play of the day. It must be Steve Bick, who, by the way, the horse ran okay the other day at 8-1. Was second, right? Lee's horse, Leon Seidler, ran.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant Scherzando or Scratch. I thought you meant Steve's actual horse.
Yeah, no.
Lee's horse
the live,
semi-live,
live on tape. What did that guy at NBC call? When they were doing the Olympics, he coined a term for it.
Plausibly live.
Plausibly live. It's either live or not, one or the other.
I think that's golf tournaments now too.
Is it? I think so
too.
Let's go to the Paul Chevrolet play of the day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week's Chevy Silverado is just $539 a month with zero due at inception. Yes, zero down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey everybody, Steve Bick back with you for the Wednesday DePaula play of the day, coming off of that fun Sunday placement by Silo Ridge for Lee Heinz-Seidler. Came off very well, got $8 and $5 for the place and show. Let's try to do one better today as we start Travers week. New York breds, long on the turf. You know how I feel about them. There's very little separating these groups. It's very true of the fourth race today. And I'm going to go to Laurel Valley. This is the 8-horse for the Wyckoffs and Mike Maker. You get the services of Flavian Pratt. This group of state breds, they all are separated as usual by about 3 lengths. Laurel Valley's race 2 back, albeit against maiden claiming company, state breds. That effort stands up very well here. And if he comes back to that effort, he can win. And Flavian Pratt has been making a difference on horses all meet. And hopefully he makes a difference here. The obvious players slap in the face. Mission Hill, Tony O a little bit. And for me at 5-1, Laurel Valley's the way to go. The DePaula play of the day. Let's get lucky. Back with you tomorrow for the Thursday edition. See you then.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
The all-new 2024 Chevy Trax is here. Bigger, roomier, seats 5, and lots of technology. And just $449 a month, zero down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga in front of Clare Court alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. It is the premier steeplechase of the meet throughout my lifetime many years ago. Well, not that many years ago, but for many years. It was called the New York Turf Riders, now appropriately renamed for Jonathan Shepard. I think in America, unquestionably the greatest steeplechase trainer there's ever been. I mean, I don't know.
One of my favorites, certainly.
Yeah, but you like him particularly when he runs on the flats, and you get a little price.
I got a bonus with the steeplechase.
You do. Except usually it's, well, I could tell you, and I'm going back to like 1984. Such, I've told this before, when they used to run 2 jumps, usually races 4 and 6 on Fridays, and it was, I think, he had Fishback. He might have been, but it was you just bet Jonathan Shepard. I mean, no one knew anything. I didn't know anything more than that. You just bet Jonathan Shepard. You usually got it half right, and you moved on. So
50%. You were over the 30 to 36%.
Yeah, but they didn't pay $4. So no, I didn't get over the hump. They paid $3.60, so I lost 40 cents basically. So 2 miles and 3/8, and usually run the steeplechase rate. The other one's at 2 1/16, right? So This is a little more vigorous. It's the Grade 1, now renamed after the great Hall of Famer Jonathan Shepard.
I have a 3, 1, 4, and 9. I'm going for the Sean Clancy Marshall Graham runner, Awakened, who I thought ran pretty well in the Kaiser at that 2 1/16. Was showing a little oomph in the stretch. Maybe the extra distance will help. Certainly gets a little weight break, gets 7 pounds off from that race. That may be beneficial as well. So I'll take a little pop with Awakened at 6-1 on the morning line. L'Imperator comes in off a nice allowance win here early in the meet. A nice allowance win. Was sitting towards the back and then circled the field and just pulled away late. I originally had this one on top and then played around a little bit. So I'm not knocking L'Imperator at all. Theocrat in the 3rd spot. The Kerry Breon runner has done a little wrong since arriving in the United States. Couple of wins, couple of second-place finishes. Hasn't been seen, however, since last November. So fitness is maybe going to be the question mark. McTeague is going to take a lot of action, obviously, off the win in the Kaiser. But again, we'll see if maybe the distance helps Awakened, who finished second to McTeague in that Kaiser. I'm going to look to switch things up this afternoon. I have a 3, 1, 4, and 9.
And we are swinging all 11 days, folks. There will be no even if I'm on the last day, it's 429 for me. I'll take a $18 winner in the jump to get off the thing. Because I do think, as much as I am able to parse it out, I think we're live at 8-1.
Second race this afternoon, kicking off the week. State bred claimers going 3/4 mile.
As I said, I think this is a fantastic race. If you're coming up today to bet horses, and I'm not speaking from a horizontal, but from a vertical standpoint, these trifectas and exactas today intrigue me. Obviously, the first race is not my ballywhack. 5, 3, 4. See, Seth doesn't even have my top pick on top. As I said, I am not looking to crawl over the finish line. Bronx Bomber is 10-1 on the morning line. Hasn't run since June. Now, it's tough to parse it out. But, for example, I went to the State Bred 25 races. There's a couple of them. Races 3 and 4 back, hit the board. Now, what's interesting is they've run on a wet track. They've run on the dirt 34 times, 16 times wet. 8 times it's hit the board, has never won. My thought is that this is the right level for the runner and maybe clear and fast. And our director told me that it's going to be firm, which is hallelujah. I think maybe I got a chance with Bronx Bomber at a big price. Bust and Shout. The race goes through the 3 and the 4 that Seth has, and I take Roddy and Mary Valenti's Bust and Shout over the horse to beat in the Linda Rice barn, 2 for 2 at Saratoga. Even money. Leaves the Todd Pletcher barn. First start of the year, 5, 3, 4.
I went 3, 4, 6, and 5. Put the Hedgers down in the 4th spot, but I put Bust and Shout on top, and I did it because even money on Perfect Munnings, who very good horse, and again we talked about this type a number of times at the meet. Might outclass these, might just step out and run away from this bunch, but also may need one, might be at the back of the pack, because this is a horse coming out of a couple of stakes races last October and December, and now comes back for a $25,000 tag in a new barn. There were just too many question marks to feel confident there. So Bust and Shout comes in with certainly more good recent form. Nice win, stepped down the claiming ladder last time, but again, did it in a fashion that says fits nicely with this group. So that went over Perfect Munnings, and then Lonergan 2 in the 3rd spot. Went up to Finger Lakes last time and kind of clunked. But you go down the page, tends to show some early speed. Maybe the speed horse in here may try to speed pop him a little bit. I think is going to fit okay with this group. I will say the last race up the Finger Lakes and the last couple actually don't inspire. But again, with that early speed, might be a little bit dangerous in here. So for me, 3, 4, 6, and 5.
On to the 3rd. We've seen this condition much at Saratoga. 3-year-olds and up. Optionals in for 80. The 3X, but the capital C is the new thing thrown in, which is non-winners in 23. 5.5 on the turf. As I mentioned, my director told me it's listed as firm. I didn't look it up, Seth, but boy, it's got to be many racing days since it was listed as firm.
I would say that is a fair assessment. Yes.
Let's get
6, 8, 3, and 7. This one's kind of interesting. We had that private purchase the other day that was interesting, Henson, but this one was a private purchase as well.
The most interesting accounting of any horse ever.
That was a strange story to begin with, and then the nice win kind of maybe made it stranger given the situation. But I put 6, 8, 3, and 7 here, and so I have the 3 down in the 3rd spot. But high front, one little stake at Canterbury back in June. Was running for Augustin that day. Jonathan Thomas and Augustin now goes out for Reeves, Michael Dubb and company, and is in the Christophe Clement barn. And that they reached in on a stakes winner Canterbury was very intriguing to me. They attract Irad Ortiz. So I was kind of stepping back and thinking, this one's interesting. But I went with Bring Me a Check. I thought the last couple of races kind of touted this one as being very live. Off the claim today, the trainer with a limited sample is okay off the claim. Gaffleon seems to be riding well, and so I'll tilt slightly in that direction. 2nd spot, I'm going to go with Thin White Duke, going out for Steve Christ and company, and I think this one a nice fit off the 3rd in the Troy behind Cogburn. Last time, this seems to be a little bit, not much, but maybe a little bit of an easier field than that. And then I put High Front in the 3rd spot. Jackson Traveler who's more dirt than turf, but comes in with a bullet workout for West Point and Asmussen, is also interesting. This is a fun race, but I have it 6-8, 3-7.
And am I correct that Jonathan Thomas was a Christophe Clement assistant trainer?
Oh, I don't know.
So that would make like it starts to see where there's a little bit more. How can I say? Like I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but basically that there's more. I don't know. I can't put it in words. I'm sorry.
Synergy?
Not synergy. That kind of came, but it's an owner change to Reeves. I don't know how close it is, but they're like, Jonathan, let's bring in the Christophe Clement's barn. They kind of worked telephones. I don't know. I went for 1-3-5. We're swinging, folks. You go to 2 races back, though, because I don't think the last race is applicable, the mile race on a yielding turf course at Saratoga. But 2 races back, a very sharp turf sprint. Beyer in the low 90s going 5.5 at Monmouth. I think we fit. We are down inside. I have high front for a second and then slipstream. But 1-3-5 for me in a very contentious third race.
All right, let me pop into our dark horse play of the day. I saw the dark horse folks. They had a little booth and they had upset their mini horse at the barbecue last night, so it was fun to see them up there. As I say, it was a fun evening. If you get a chance next year, mark it on your calendar. But for me, dark horse play today brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga, right on Broadway. Stop down, a couple weeks of the meet left, but don't forget they're open after the meet, as are all of the stores downtown, but they stay open late, so you can go down and have a little dinner, walk Broadway, and stop in the Dark Horse, their sister store down the street. Impressions of Saratoga, also a lot of fun. But dark horse play today for me is in race number 5. I don't know. I kind of searched around for the dark horse play today, but I thought Charge Nurse was a little bit interesting in here, coming in from Finger Lakes. We've had some Finger Lakes winners already at the meet come in, and Disruption, the Chad Brown Klarovich horse, 5-2 on the morning line, and off the seasonal debut. I didn't know if I was super excited there. Red Moon coming in off a couple of tries against New York Stallion Series Company, albeit on turf, but does have, okay dirt form, but I didn't think invincible. But good recent form for Charge Nurse. Now, those are 2 races up at the Finger Lakes, but I thought this horse would stack up all right. Does have a little workout here at Saratoga just about a week ago that I think bodes well. I thought the cutback from the 2 turns to the turn and a half was maybe a little bit interesting as well. So I'm going to, again, tilt slightly in that direction, but at the 8-1, it makes for an interesting dark horse play of the day. So the dark horse play of the day today, race number 5, horse number 7, Charge Nurse.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the middle, pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 101-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 101 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now. Oh, it's me. I was counting you down. 4th race. I should know.
I want to say that you got everyone right. So I was just so confident that, just to give the folks just a little stuff, not that it matters a lot, but for the humor is like, Seth intros the even races. We did all 40 shows last year. We've done 29 so far. So for 69 shows, I introduce the odd numbers, kick it off, Seth does the even. So in the middle break, except for Travers, they will adjust it. We break at 3, 6, and 8. So the middle one, he's nailed it because he does the countdown. So I didn't say anything. Then I was like, he missed it.
I will. Yeah.
Too many beats.
Yeah, there was enough of a hesitation. Like
beats.
Whiff. And I will also say, just so people know, in the real television world, you would also have an earpiece. So this would be a whole different scenario than me. Because I wonder how many days people hear me saying 3 and 2.
You think he come back?
I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe, and that's the explanation for people. I'm the only one.
I think I have about 6 earpieces
here's
over
the
25 years. Right ones, left ones, so they didn't show.
Yeah, that is the normal. That's the norm, but we've cut it down to me. But again, that regardless of that, the number, that was a whiff on my part. But it is the fourth.
I threw it to myself and I dropped it.
It is the fourth race.
I was like Fredo in the Godfather with the gun protecting his father, fumbling it.
Fourth race coming up. Fourth race today. State bred maiden specials. They're on the grass at 8.5 for a while.
I love this race we had earlier. The DePaula Chevrolet Play of the Day. Laurel Valley was in my mix. I just give out 3, except for once in a while. But this would have been a case where my fourth one would have been number 8, Laurel Valley, in this race. I think this is a great betting race. I don't know. We have in the main body, which is 1 through 10, the 3 who's 31 in the morning line and would seem like an outsider. Although I saw Sean Bridgman the other day out back on the bench. It's a good betting race. Unless they surprise us with the 4 at a big price. I'm 5'6'9", as you see. Slap in the face, scheduled to make the 3rd career start for Anthony Dutrow. Debuted in November, came back in June. I'm throwing out the first race because even though that was Veterans Day and we're wrapping up the Aqueduct season, I think it's a fair leap of faith to say something went wrong. So they come back in June, and the offspring of Oscar Performance at 15-1 runs brilliantly off the layoff. And now I'm less concerned about the regression because that race was June 1st. We're almost 3 months later, and in the hands of Anthony Dutrow. Now, this is one of the few short price horses I'm willing to take. I like Slap in the Face. I'm shocked. Is he at least your 5th place horse?
No, but I have a little mark there. He's the one that scares me.
Okay, because I'm like, all right. And then I have Tony O, number 6, who you do have on your list. I'm throwing out the off the turf race they stayed in. A good 3rd place finish. And for 3rd, number 9, Lieutenant Mitchell talked about one of the few pop cultures that I get from Top Gun. 5, 6, 9.
8, 9, 6, and 1. I did put Laurel Valley on top, not with a lot of confidence. I have written at the top of the page, tough race.
Yes.
So
Tough race that's a euphemism for a good betting race if you get it right.
Well,
in my opinion,
I think it was Dick Powell who said a good betting race isn't necessarily a wide open race. A good betting race
when
is
you have an opinion.
Yeah, when you have an opinion at a price. When you really have a strong opinion at a price, as opposed to, well, this one's wide open, so I'm kind of landing here. And I tend to agree with that.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
When they're wide open, I put more time into it to find one because I think it's there. I just have to, I dive in deeper because I'm like, you got to find the nugget. If you get the nugget, you're going to be rewarded.
But, and that's fair, but isn't it still better if you're looking at a race and like, oh, this 8-1 just jumping off the page at me?
That was my well, since that happens every day for me.
I don't know that they always jumping off the page.
It's like twice a me, 8-1.
But a couple of sprints. That's an angle I like as well. 2 sprints to a 2-turn race. It's an angle I've kind of liked for quite a while. Not necessarily on the turf, but I don't think it's a negative. But I think it's also positive on the turf. Maybe better on the dirt. But Laurel Valley on top. Lieutenant Mitchell, last couple of races were off the turfers. but they were pretty good. The 2 turf races just before that were good enough to mix it up with this bunch. And then Tony O, that won the off the turf for last time. I'm just going to kind of draw a line through it.
Yeah.
Mission Hill in the 4th spot for Bill Mott. Interesting. And I did think Slap in the Face was dangerous in here. Just missed my mix. But for me, 8, 9, 6, and 1.
Now, before we go to this, because this is something that I'm very comfortable with. The type, you can't follow everything. You can't know everything. I'm comfortable with the things I know. One thing I would like to learn, though, is when you choose to stay in the off the turf, and I'm talking about Tony O in the last one and Lieutenant Mitchell in the last 2, does that put you at the head of the class for the next time this turf race, New York State bred maiden special weights, which you know will be popular, comes up? And the reason I need to learn this is Tony O's last race, if you stay in it because you want to be at the head of the class the next time it comes up, I'd like to know that, because, it'd be good to know that they're staying in because they want to keep their line in class, because this is one of the few conditions, I think, Seth, it's fair to say, you'll have plenty of entrants. And I'm just wondering if Lieutenant Mitchell
used to be the rule. I don't know whether
if Lieutenant Mitchell did it twice and he did it once and he has good turf races, did he do it just to keep his space? Because I think he's live today. So that's something I should learn. And if there was a place that I knew I could directly ask someone, I would bug them and ask them. But as Seth said, it used to be called stars.
Yeah.
You got these stars. You collected them if you didn't get in, so that you didn't keep being in the back of the list. On to the 5th race. Another popular condition, the State Breds Fillies entry-level allowance, going the mile on the dirt.
7, 3, 6, and 4. I mentioned Charge Nurse earlier as my dark horse play of the day. It's just Disruption at 5-2. I thought had some holes off of the seasonal debut, and Red Moon off of the 2 turf stakes tries, which were okay, and the dirt races underneath were okay. But at 9-5, I don't think this is any kind of a standout. So I was willing to take a little bit of a pop against with a horse that seems to be in some decent recent form off the 2 Finger Lakes tries. It was the 3rd and the 2nd, but again, they seem to indicate this horse has the ability to mix it up with this bunch, at least on the numbers. And I think the cut back to the turn and a half mile could be a little bit intriguing for that one. Luis Saez jumps on board, so I'll put that one on top. And then Disruption, Chad Brown runner, 5-2. I'll be interested to see if the betting public buys into that off of the poor performance in the return. But blinkers added, LASIX added today. That may attract the attention of folks with the potent connections. And Red Moon, 9-5 on the morning line. But again, off the last couple on the turf, the numbers are okay. And now gets back to the more proper condition on dirt where the horses run well before. Probably deservedly the favorite. But again, I'll be interested to see how strongly the betting public jumps on the 6 and the 3. I'm in the 5th, 7, 3, 6, and 4.
Well, I love this race now, Seth, because you've taught me about the power of the Beyer speed figures. Disruption not only doesn't stick out, is in the back of the pack, and it's 5-2 on the morning line. Unless you're hanging your hat on the 2nd career start back in September, this horse is like 6th in line, and it's 5-2. And Charge Nurse is my top pick. One thing that I will never, know, there's so much politics and non-politics with who rides for whom. But the fact that Jeremiah Engelhardt, I'm guessing, reached out for Luis Saez, and they were willing to take the Finger Lakes mount, this is just life. If Luis Saez ends up 8th, beating 23.5 lengths, I'm guessing he wouldn't take that phone call so readily the next time. That's all supposition on my part. He's a live jockey. He's not going to win by number of races, but he's having the best meet with the other fella who is probably going to win the meet. And he's riding a Finger Lakes shipper basically on say-so alone at a price. You can ask more questions, the higher the odds. I like Charge Nurse, just like Seth, very much in here. I think April Antics, the one who you don't even have, and I only have for 3rd, people are just going to be so enamored with that July 26th race that they're going to come in here. And Disruption is in my mix purely because of the connections, but I would not put in the 1st. But if Seth is right, and I think on dirt, people are more enamored with the Beyer speed figures than turf.
Yeah.
But this horse has to be a new horse today to warrant 5-2 in this group. Love the race, 7-3-1.
Sixth race on this Wednesday afternoon. We're looking at state-bred maiden 2-year-olds going 7 furlongs.
There's 2 firsters in here and 4, I think, second-time starters, of which my top pick is 1. So, yes, there's still much to learn, but I like my top pick here. 5-2-3, Dixie Farrow. I must say that the slop, I usually separate my opinions on the slop and the fast, but I like what I saw as a practice race. I saw enough in there. Now I get a clear fast racetrack. Dixie Farrow, Dylan Davis back, 8-1 in the morning line. I'm very happy. It's a first-time starter, number 2, so I'll take a shot at Benzodini. Steve Asmussen trains. If you're guessing an offspring of Bernardini, you would be correct. This is a pretty, they paid $45,000 for a horse who stands for 35, and that number has been pretty solid for Bernardini. And for that, so that's light. And then Mike Maker's Mischief Joke. I see Seth, you put him on seconds, 9-5. You put him in second. Sounds like you have some trepidation. My thought is here. We can see that this horse can run a 64, 65. It's been done. Probably can repeat it. Well, the par for winning this race is 70. So that's not good at 9-5. And I'm not so sure somebody can't debut and run a 71. Or my guy, throw out the 40 in the slop, second time start, runs a 68 or 69 at 4 times the price. So 5-2-3.
Yeah, that's just why I took the little shot against Mischief Joke. The numbers aren't outstanding. Now, experience counts, probably the one to beat. But again, the numbers we've seen so far it may wind up being okay in this bunch. But I went with Benzodini on top. By Bernardini, they did only pay $45,000, but it is a state bred, so that probably played into it a little bit. But worked 21.4 before the sale down in Ocala, and the dam has produced some nice win early types. Sibling Electronic, 4th in debut, then won the next 2 starts. Sibling called Chiclet's Dream, 3rd, second, and won in the 5th start. And Notorious Flirt won in the 3rd start. So I thought there was some win early there. Steady string of workouts. Sometimes the Asmussen horses get a start and then improve in their second. But he can certainly get them ready first time out of the box. And again, I don't think this horse has to be a real world beater to get it done here. And there is a little win early breeding. So Benzodini on top, Mischief Joke in the second slot. Blue 85 for Lee Einseidler and Mike Francesa. And again, talked to Lee and Mike in the paddock before the last race. And it is being a son of Audible. They're referring to an Audible here. Blue 85 off of, a couple of improving numbers that may bode well for this afternoon. I put yours in the 4th spot, Dixie Farrow. There was a sibling called Gandolfini that won its career debut out at Los Al for Bob Baffert. That one was by Justify, so a little bit of win early breeding there, lived up to it. But the dam obviously has produced a first-time starter winner already, so Dixie Farrow also playable. In the 6th, 2, 3, 7, and 5.
Race number 7 for us old fogies, we refer to this as the Seneca, which was closing day feature for a couple of years there. 13 furlongs. We used to run more of these. 11 is about as far as you run now on the turf, but the John's Call, 13 furlongs, a restricted stakes race. But Seth, we see restricted stakes races often, but I've never seen one like this. The restriction is you just can't win a grade 1 or a grade 2 sweepstakes on the turf in 2023. And I think this is true. You're going to love this one, Seth. You're going to love this one. John's Call might have been the last field horse to win a race at Saratoga, but he was definitely the last field horse to win a grade 1.
Oh, well, yeah. How often does that happen? Obviously, not often.
And we should tell the folks who are casual fans, generally, if you were put in the field, you weren't one of the top 10 contenders. But John's Call, I think he was 12F, winning the Sword Dancer
the field is,
under the line.
The field is now a complete anachronism,
It doesn't
right?
exist.
Because the tote board has the dope board can play whatever you want.
Everybody in America is on board with 14 runners except the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
I think is it. Yeah, the field is gone, but John's call 12F on the old board.
I have it 4, 8, 3, and 6. I put Pioneering Spirit on top. Comes in with a steady streak of wins for Linda Rice, and last time out, won at 1 mile 3/8. Time before that, won at 1 1/4 miles. So in good form, proven at this marathonish type of a distance. I'll bite. Side Dog in the second spot comes in off a try down at Colonial that was pretty good for Graham Motion. Their back numbers, they're very good. I think this horse can be a player in and amongst this bunch. And Burning Bright, 12-1. And I debated, we've said it many times on the show, the longer they go, it's counterintuitive, but the longer they go, oftentimes the more dangerous speed is. And Burning Bright, if Burning Bright gets out there and is able to lope along on the lead, it might be tough to catch late. And a 12-1 price, at least worth considering and tossing into the mix. In the 7th at Saratoga, 4, 8, 3, and 6.
Do you have the 7 anywhere?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I could make a case for the 7.
I think the Belmont Gold Cup that's probably going to be the only turf race in Naira that's longer than this one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, all heck can break loose. What I like is that I think the 1 mile 5/8 is within the scope of Tide of the Sea. I'm not so sure with Burning Bright with the Belong to Me on the bottom, that good sprinter, but I like Tide of the Sea's ability to get the 13 furlongs, and I like the fact that that's not something you don't see every day. The same exact thought I had. I didn't see any hand signal there at all.
That's interesting. We just had a horse come down the street. And it was planned. You could tell it was planned. She made a left-hand turn. I like Tide of the Sea very much. It's a wide open race. And you might be right. It'll be interesting as they come through the stretch the first time who's in the lead. I was tilting towards Burning Bright, but it might be Tide of the Sea that tries to steal.
And I think I have fewer questions about Tide of the Sea going 13 than Burning Bright. But I think it's a wide open race. I told you folks, I love this card. Javier Castellano, who was up at Woodbine on Sunday, is in. I'm 7-6-4.
Were we supposed to take a break?
After 8, right?
Well, after 6,
Did
right?
we miss 6? Are we just having too much fun?
I think so.
Dino, do we owe you 2?
He's not the wrong guy. Let's just send it to a break.
Anthony, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the final pick 3. Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Birdstone is an outside. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back. Handicappers Report, Seth, Merrow, Anthony, Mormino. And again, once again, the lull is in the air, but that was when the horse appeared out in the street. That was.
I mean, we should also preface it because usually it's a problem.
She must have come out,
but
yeah,
that we've been doing this 26 years for me, and that they were doing it before. But it looks very coordinated. No one was worried or anything, but you don't see that control.
Yeah, it kind of came down the street and took a left turn and off to the races. 8th race this afternoon, maiden 40 claimers, 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
Wide open for me, 9, 4, 10. And there you have it. 5 out of, but 6 will be rich. I like the debut on turf for the most recent effort. Tom Morley comes right back, 3rd start since February. I'm on board. Golden Sense, a terrific stallion. For 2nd, Rockstar Red. Linda Rice claimed this for 40. Stayed in the off-the-turf maiden 75. Comes back for maiden 40 today. And for 3rd, number 10 with Luis Saez, Safi Joseph. This Gulfstream partnership worries me very much, but 9, 4, 10 for me.
I took a look at pop with the first-time turfer for Todd Pletcher. I went 11, 4, 8, and 10. Now, A, first-time turf. B, I don't love the post position, and the post position may stymie me. But I thought with the class relief, that may mitigate the surface. I'll put some trust in Todd Pletcher to be making a clever move. This one's been working down at Monmouth, racing most recently at Gulfstream. So I just, again, thought, I'll put my trust in Todd Pletcher to be making a clever move. Let's try the maiden claimers up at Saratoga with the horse. We'll give it the turf a try. So I jumped there with some trepidation, but I also, at 9-2 on the morning line, I think we'll get a little bit of value. Rockstar Red in the 2nd spot, Linda Rice trainee. Off the turf for last time, that was okay against a little bit better. Ran very well in a similar event downstate at this 40 tag. So they're getting right back to the comfort zone. And Be Well in the 3rd slot. Made special weight to maiden claiming. There's some back numbers that are good enough to mix it up with these. The last race certainly doesn't inspire confidence, but there is a trouble line there to kind of hang your hat on and look for a rebound. And I think that's possible. In the 8th. 11, 4, 8, and 10.
And we'll take our final break. When we come back, the late Daily Double.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 101-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 101 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Staples' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Back, ladies and gentlemen, as Seth said earlier this morning, a Chamber of Commerce day. If you got a couple hours, it's a great day to attend the races. State breds, optional claimers in for 2X, going 7/8.
5, 6, 4, and 10. Amundsen on top. Tossed in a complete clunker last time. Claimed out of that and drops. And these are the kind where I'm like, but it moves into the barn of Linda Rice. You get past that last race, and I think this horse fits very, very nicely with this bunch and has some early speed. And, again, off the last race and a little bit of a layoff since, but the workouts seem to indicate the horse will come back okay. So there are pros and cons. I just tilted slightly here. Radio Red, relatively lightly raced, 6 starts, a couple of wins and a second. Hasn't been seen since May. Tried the Mike Lee, which used to be part of that, Big Apple triple for the New York bred 3-year-olds. Man, a pretty good second in there. The race just before that was very, very good. May wind up being the one to beat in here off of that race 2 back. And then aggregation, Chad Brown, Klarovich runner, who you go back to last year in May, this horse tossed in a very good race with a very good buyer number. The first start so far this year didn't quite live up to that, showing a first-time gelding symbol. Could be a little bit interesting in here. Second start of the year with that change of equipment, so to speak. So in the 9th at Saratoga, 5, 6, 4, and 10.
6, 4, 3. I'm focused. Radio Red. You look down here. If you parse out the 3 events on a fast racetrack sprinting, 2 W's and a second. This to me, the race goes through. I find 7-2 to be an attractive price. This will be a focus of a part wheel trifecta, and I have the 4 and 3 underneath, and the 3 certainly will be a key in that. But I think Radio Red is in a very strong spot today.
10th and final, back to 6:18 for the scheduled post time. Maiden 40 claimers, 5.5 on the grass.
They don't need those 3 minutes. 8, 5, 10 for me. We agree on 2 of them. I thought this was a wide open race. I'm not surprised we landed on the same one. Did you have the 4 anywhere in the mix? Because she's in my mix. Mark Hanning having a great race. Lee Lewis, I think, was one of Mark's first clients. Personal Hope winning the San Diego Derby 30 years ago or such. But and I that Gulfstream Park race interests me on the turf, in for a tag today. But I'm 8-5. Michael Trembetta, he won the closing day, right? The Mudville 9 closing day. Closing race Sunday, in for a tag for the first time with Luis Saez. He fits. Number 5, I have Seth as Love Miami Love. Safi Joseph hasn't run many horses here, but he's been sharp. And then number 10 for Wesley Ward, first time tag, first time running this year. Flavian Prat, 8-1. Wide open, terrific get out race. 8, 5, 10. The 4 worries me very much.
11, 5, 8, 10 for me. I went with accept the outcome. Chad Klarovich runner drops in for a tag. I think the class relief is going to be beneficial. Love Miami Love. I agree. This is a horse that is in good form. A little bit of a bridesmaid, maybe. So we'll see on that today. 5 second-place finishes in 8 starts. That's always a question mark. And then Negra Gata in the 3rd spot. Mike Trombetta runner again. Made special weight to maiden, claiming that I think could move the horse into a better spot this afternoon. So for me, I have it 11, 5, 8, and 10.
All right. Quickly tell the good people who you have up next.
He's in the house.
We love that first guest.
New in the rotation from the Saratoga Special. Nolan Clancy will join us a little bit later on. Tim Wilkin and Dale Romans. They're on every weekend with Mike Penn on the Horse Racing Radio Network. They do a fun segment. I ask, they answer. With Mike Penn tosses questions out to Dale and Tim. So we thought we'd bring them both on today, talk a little bit about that and more. And then we'll also recap. I shot some video last night at the TRF barbecue, so we'll hit on that as well. All coming up in just a few.
Quick story with Dale, one of my favorite people. I met him 25 years ago in a very personal environment. So about 20 years ago, he's down at Gulfstream Park, the old one. He's tall, Dale. He's looking through his thing. I'm not tall. So I said, Dale, it's your favorite waiter. Never took his eyes off. He goes, you're not my favorite waiter. You're my favorite Al Michaels Jr. Because we talk sports, all different sports when we first met. He stays, I go. It's a great day. It's Travers Week. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Thorough Pace, Premium Racing Analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.